Zach. Hello. Hold up. Let me make sure my mic is connected. I can't believe we managed to find my stream without even me posting on my Instagram yet. How does my audio sound? Is it like correctly getting my mic? Let me know. Your mic is crunchy? Okay, good to know. Thank you. Let me check. Okay. How about now? That's cute. Okay. Hello? So much better. Okay. Yeah, I just needed to like actually connect to my my mic setup. Cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, OBS is not having fun with me right now, and is not letting me connect my tablet to the Wi-Fi. So I'm not gonna have that 2-camera setup. This is literally just a chill stream because I haven't done one in a while, and I was like, you know what? It's Labor Day weekend. If anyone else is bored, we can like all just talk together. Chat. Okay. And since you are here, you will be my test buddy, if that's okay, before I put this on my private Instagram. It's a little quiet too. Okay. I'd raise it up a little bit. Yay, chill stream. Yes. 1 second. Let's see. Lo-fi tavern music. Like I always do lo-fi tavern music. I feel like okay. How about we can do non-copyrighted Zelda. Nah, I like my lo-fi tavern music. I feel like that's very nice. Nah, you guys haven't heard it in a while because only I listen to it religiously. What's weird is I can't actually hear things. Like, why is that? Can you hear things? Hello? Desktop audio. Hello? Maybe you're an email if you're bored. I will. I have a good story for you, Zach. I will send that email soon. Don't you worry. Oh, that's so sweet. Annie's getting you boba, I'm assuming. Oh, okay. You can actually hear the tavern music? I can't hear the tavern music. Why is that? Well, that's just rude. I can see that it's going. I just can't hear it myself. Oh, okay. Sophia, that's so sweet. Okay. Since I cannot hear the tavern music myself, what's the point? No, not to be mean to you guys. Not to be mean, but... What's your speaker output? Great question. I mean, my speaker output I had assumed is just the same as normal, but maybe it's because my AirPods are out. Maybe this could have connected. Let me see. Oh, it's that. It was that. It was in my AirPods. actually like hurt my ears. So there we go. Now I can hear it. Okay, that's fun. Okay. Today I'm going to be painting something. Actually, a movie I haven't watched in a really long time. So I'm excited. I'm packing right now. Oh, why are you packing? Where are you packing to go? Ooh, thank you for letting me know. Okay, I should have lowered it. Cool. Okay. This should be better. Yeah. As y'all know, let me type in the chat. As y'all know, please type in the chat hi. Can you come here? I agree. I mean, okay, what do I want to talk about today? Let's see. I mean, I got a couple stories. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna save this for an email, but I feel like it's a pretty amazing story. Hey Rahul, hello. I'm just starting my setup right now, so I don't have my 2-camera setup for today because OBS is being a butthead. But I do have my normal, on my phone recording. So, if you guys know me, I text relatively quickly. But there's a couple hours where I didn't text anything at all, and that's because I am filming, so I can't access my phone. So if you need to reach me, please reach me via Instagram, which I can access through my laptop. So let me just set this up. Hey Val! Okay, also, just so you know, you'll probably realize this when you watch the time-lapse of this painting, but my light actually went out, and my light is specifically like a bulb that illuminates my paintings. That's the only reason why I use the light. So my dad's getting me a new light bulb, but he's in Roseville, and I'm in LA, which is an 8-hour drive. So I'm not gonna get a new painting light until like 2 weeks from now. So you'll see it's a little darker in my videos, but hopefully it's still like okay. My ceiling light's like fine. And no, I have not. Val, I just started. Hello. There's a slight lag just because I am streaming through OBS, so there's like a 30-second lag, like from chat to what I'm saying. So yeah. That's normal. I was watching a couple of other actual YouTubers and streamers stream on, oh my gosh, who's calling me? Ethan, you can't call me! Hello, Ethan.
I hope I'm not calling you during residency hours.
You're calling me during YouTubers, there's like a couple seconds lag between when they see the chat and then when they respond. So I apologize for that. He even come back. Why did I leave? I didn't leave. Okay. Yeah, so let me get started. Let me pull up the picture I had. This week is going to be a kind of a deep cut. Well, okay, here. I will tell you the theme of this month. If you guys don't know, there's a theme for every month, and this theme is actually called underrated must-watches. So I do think that every movie in this month is not talked about as much as it should, and I'm trying to like draw people's attention to it because like y'all probably like animation, y'all probably like good stories, you know. So I'm hoping that you'll check this out if you haven't already. Also, let me know if like the music is too loud, if there is no music, if my mic is too loud, blah blah blah. I'm still working out the kinks of everything. And I was originally going... Okay, so another thing is you'll probably notice that this week I've been painting a lot. I painted something Monday through Thursday, and the reason is because I'm doing RA training. And RA training is a lot of just like Zoom calls. So I don't go into lab, I don't go into the hospital, I'm literally just Zoom calling. And it's really easy to just multitask while I'm doing that, so yeah. This should be better. Yeah, and then Friday I was going to paint this one, but I got lazy. How was your weeks? Please let me know how your week has been. Oh, why can't I find this? Okay. Rahul, you haven't subscribed? How dare you? If you're like Zach, who I've known since high school, then you would have seen that I had already started streaming before I sent the link in our group chat. Also, I am really sorry, Val, that you got your wisdom teeth pulled out. I think I also have to get my wisdom teeth pulled out soon. No! Okay, that's good, you're doing better though. I feel like my teeth have been hurting a little bit, and it's in like the wisdom teeth area, like that part of the gums. So I'm really scared to get them pulled, but I have not talked to my dentist about it yet, so that's another worry for a different day. Oh my gosh, am I gonna have to search for the screen cap myself? Am I gonna have to Google the movie and look for the screen cap? Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. It must be done. Okay, that's what I've heard, is like doing it during the breaks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why can't I find this? Oh, I remember. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the screen cap, so a little distracted. Haven't even started painting yet. Christine. Okay. I'll go into my story after I find the screen cap.
Our city is better than ever, thanks to...
I have to play the entire intro of this movie because I don't remember exactly the seconds that it takes to get there. I'm like, okay, let's see. Burp, 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 burp. Trying to remember, where did they do this? Okay. Why do I feel like it was actually before this? In a different part of the intro. I'll give you a hint though on what this is based off of. It's technically based off an anime, but this movie is not an anime. It's like, I would say it's solidly cartoon. I'm looking up background. How come it's not working? Scenery. What, you know it? I don't know. Again, this is like a deep cut. Like I love this movie, and this is definitely one of like my classics. But I feel like I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'll give you a hint, another hint. If you know it, then you'll know it. This is about a boy, and his name is Toby. And there are robots. We'll see if that's enough for you to get what this movie is. Right, exactly, Val. Yeah. That's the clue. That's the clue. I'm like, at this point. Raul, you know it! Wait, that's so fun! You guys actually know this movie? I'm genuinely shocked. Really? Okay, maybe it's not as deep of a... Sorry, I get really excited, so I'm talking really loud. But I didn't think that a lot of people knew it because no one talks about it. Like, I love Astro Boy. This is like one of my favorite movies. And it definitely like... It made me question a lot of things about life. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Did you guys like this movie? When did you watch it? Like, do you remember how old you were when you first, like, came across this movie? Oh, Netflix No. I'm talking about the Imagi Studios version. Like, no, I'm talking about, I don't know what year is this? Some Entertainment and Imagi Studios. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about a recent Netflix version. I did find this on, it's on HBO Max, I think. You were 9th grade? I feel like that's really old. Right? Like, am I crazy? Oh, Val, that's so sweet. Okay. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you guys, like, know what it is. Yeah, no, I think it's a great movie. Dude, Nicolas Cage is Dr. Tenma? I didn't even know that. I'm literally watching the first part of it because I cannot find the screen cap, and it's... Oh, okay. Got it. I found the screen cap. Ugh, finally. It was 1 minute 33 seconds. Yeah, no, it's definitely old. Let me see where... How old is it? Sorry. It is... G4. Stop, that's so funny. This was 2009. Yeah, this was 2009. It's an older movie. It was a manga, I believe. Like, it was like a manga turned anime turned kids and family movie. G-Force painting card. G-Force is not animated, unfortunately. If it was animated, then we'd be talking about a different thing. But it is not. So. And yes, I did watch G-Force. I think that was the first time I ever got scared about appliances turning into robots, and now it's just a constant fear. So, G-Force did it first, folks. G-Force did it first. I don't want to hear anything about the Terminator. No. G-Force did it first. Let's see. I'm telling you that was not animated. Okay, so, wow, this is not as deep of a cut. I mean, to be fair, I also put Treasure Planet, I believe, on this list, and Treasure Planet is not really a deep cut, but it was a box office... Treasure Planet was a complete box office failure. So, in my opinion, that qualifies it for being, like, an underrated classic, because it was literally a failure in the box office, which is so sad, because it's great. Everything on my list for this month, you have to watch. Otherwise, we're not friends. Okay, finally starting to ping. Woohoo! Now that I found my screen cap. Okay. Play the song, Ash. Okay, now I guess it's time for story time. I don't know, Zach, if you are still here, but I will be telling you this story, although this should be a new story for Rahul as well. Christine and Val know it just because I was excited when telling about it. But this story is about a friend, a wonderful friend, who happens to be a very generous, wonderful friend. Okay, so basically, I have this friend, and she, let's see, what's a good fake name? Not that I think this is gonna go viral or anything, but just in case it does, let's call her Michelle. Oh no, she's gonna be mad at me. But let's call her Michelle. So Michelle and I met in math class, and like freshman year, like she was probably my first friend outside of the dorms. So it was a really big deal that like we became friends, and she's a very charming person. So we've like kind of gone through a lot, Michelle and I, like to the point where like during COVID we would have our weekly Zoom calls. Like it was every Saturday morning. Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not a problem. So Michelle and I got close, and she actually dropped out of UCLA during freshman year because she like is a big shot in like crypto and all of that stuff. Oh yeah, Michelle Vaughn. Yeah. And so she didn't really need school, right? Because she was already having like a full-time job and like making a lot of money, and she was very passionate about what she's doing. She still is passionate, by the way. She's still working for like crypto and tech and everything. But we still kept in touch because it was COVID, and it was like our friendships were the friendships we made before the pandemic. And like to the point where like we even ran a road trip together. We had really hard conversations, and like we gained a level of trust. I feel like a lot of people, it's like harder to get. Like basically, like I can call her out on her BS and she can call me out on my BS. So we have that really reciprocal relationship, and like we don't, like after that really big tough conversation we had, like it became so much easier to communicate because we were really honest. Yeah. Anyways, so for her, because she's so young, but she's also in a field that like have a lot of like older guys, and by older I don't mean like 50, right? But like older than her, who's like our age. So they tend to be a little bit older, and she tends to like date and be surrounded by men who are older. But she recently got this boyfriend who's actually younger than her, in crypto, really successful. They both hit it off. They have a lot of like common similarities. They can talk about their fields, and like they actually know what each other's talking about. So overall, like a pretty good start to the relationship, even though like he doesn't live in America and she does, and there's long distance and whatever. It seems so unlikely, but they actually hit it off. And she was telling him that she trusted my opinion so much that if I had told her to like break up with him, she would be like, oh no, you know, I kind of vibes, like just like she really values my opinion, which of course I'm really honored by and flattered. So he was like, haha, that's like scary. So she tells me the story about how they meet, and I actually think that they might have a chance. Like some of the guys that she's dated or been on dates before, have not really been the best kind of people. So I was really surprised and happy for her that like this guy seems like so good, like and genuine, and he's really nice. No, he's not American. He's Canadian. Yeah, he lives in Ontario, I believe. Yeah, he goes to school in Canada too. He's still in college. Anyways, so basically what happens is that I tell her, and like she's obsessed with like, hey, do you think we can make it in the future? As in like, do you think our relationship stands a chance? Because she's had very like, not even relationships, just like short like hookup things and dating and stuff. So I'm like, honestly, either you guys break up within 1 month because you realize that you don't want a relationship at all, or you last like 4+ years, which is a high compliment, right? So she immediately is like, that's so cool. And then she tells her boyfriend, and her boyfriend goes, oh my God, how can I send Caitlin a thank you? And I'm like joking, but also not joking. And I'm like, well, he can buy me expensive jewelry. And I list something from Etsy, which is like a $30 Howl's Moving Castle jewelry set, right? Like totally like crazy that they would even give me a gift, but $30 is like a nice little gift, right? Well, 2 hours later, she texts me and she goes, hey, we were trying to be sneaky about this, but you gave us the wrong address to your, like, you gave us the wrong shipping address, because I had forgotten to give her my room number. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here's my real address, right? And she was like, cool, you can, like, I can ship it to you, or you can pick it up in store. And I'm thinking, in store? Etsy, which is the jewelry I sent her, doesn't have stores. Etsy is an online shopping brand, right? Like, you get things shipped to you. There is no way to pick them up. So I ask her, what store? And she says, Tiffany's. And I'm shooketh. I cannot imagine. Like, I was like astounded. I never had thought that she would get me Tiffany's jewelry. I was like, are you absolutely kidding me? Of course I'm gonna pick it up in store. So she goes, what store? And I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get free jewelry from Tiffany's, you know what store I'm getting it from. Like, you know the place. And that is Rodeo Drive. I'm going to the fanciest Tiffany's I can find in like Los Angeles, right? So I go with my friend who drives me there, Carolina. They're amazing. And we go in, and it's immediately like crazy impressive. The street itself is beautiful and extremely intimidating. And like when we go inside Tiffany's, there's like 9 bodyguards in just the first room. And they're looking at us, and we do not look like we can afford Tiffany's because we cannot. And they're just like, do you need help? And we're like, and I was like, I'm picking up like a piece, trying to be all fancy. And they're like, okay, like you go down to the like customer service. So I go down to customer service, and like there's no one here. So I'm like, okay, like this is this fancy room. I'm trying to take a video because it's a really, really fancy room, and someone comes out of the walls. And when I mean out of the walls are sliding, and they like are seamless. So they come out and they're like, hey, have you been helped yet? And we're like, no. And it's like, okay, like we'll get someone to help you. And then they go back into, I don't know, the main part of Tiffany's. I don't know what is it. Like it could be a fancy dungeon for all I know. And they're like, hey, like trying to get someone to help us. And in the meantime, like 5 more people come out of all these different walls. Like it's not the same door, it's like several of the walls. And they're like, hey, have you been helped? And we're like, we're being helped right now, blah, blah, blah. This man comes out and he goes, hello, you know, like, do you know like how big the piece is? And I'm like, no, I have no idea what I'm getting, which definitely doesn't seem sus at all. But he's like, okay. And I was like, oh, it's like, it was a gift for me. And he's like, do you have like the like the jewelry number or like the item number? And I was like, I have nothing. I have the word of my friend that this is waiting for me. Yeah, it quite literally could be Narnia, Christine. So he's like, okay. And he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, okay, Caitlin Ang, like, right? Like, it's under my name. And then he's like, okay. So he goes back to presumably get it. And me and Carlina are just, again, standing there. And I'm trying to take videos, but everyone keeps coming in and out. And it's just way too awkward. And we clearly do not belong. Finally comes out with a little bag. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what this is. It's, like, in the very classic Tiffany blue bag. Like, you know, that teal blue color. So I'm like, he's like, okay, like sign that you received it. And I'm like, okay. And as I'm signing, both Carlina and I glance at the receipt. I'm not going to tell you the exact price. But trust me, I will say, it was over $500. I'd like to also emphasize that it was not just my friend who bought me this, it was my friend and her boyfriend. Specifically, they split it 60-40, meaning her boyfriend paid 60% of it and she paid 40%. He had never met me. He had dated my friend for less than 2 weeks, and he was getting me, a stranger, someone who, as I think Christine pointed out, I basically said, you either break up or you don't, which is great advice, like, you know, a great prediction. And he bought me, like, he spent like over $300, right, on this present. And I'm astounded with them on the street. They're hidden away. But I don't even dare open it in Tiffany's. Like, I'm so intimidated by all the people who are walking around that I just like, oh no, my light turned off. That Carlina and I just leave Tiffany's and we open the jewelry, like, because I still don't know what it is, on a park bench outside the Tiffany store. And it turns out to be earrings. So they're pearl earrings. They're beautiful. I tried them on one time and I like absolutely love them. Oh my god, they're so pretty. And luckily I had gotten like my ears pierced like earlier this year, so like worked out that I could wear them and everything, but it's just so nice. No, probably not a dent on his bank account. You're right. But it's still like really impressive, right? Like he doesn't know me. Anyways, so that happens, and I couldn't FaceTime my friend because I promised her I would FaceTime her, but like again, way too intimidating. I was not going to be that clearly out of place Gen Zer. So we instead sent her a reaction video. And I guess she loved my reaction and she sent it to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend also loved my reaction and was like, I could watch this 50 million times. Like, you know, this is a top favorite. I've watched it 5 times. I love this video. I love how hard she's smiling. And I'm like, yeah, do you guys not smile when you get really expensive jewelry? Like, I'm confused. Like, who are you hanging out with? Like, who is not smiling at your gifts? Tell me. I will smile for you. So basically, moral of the story is the connections you make in college are amazing. And friend Michelle, Elias, if you are watching this, I will be your private React channel any day you want. So if you want to keep sending me things, I'm not gonna mind. I will say, from Carlina's request, if you want to send me something, I will gladly take Legos for Carlina's partner, because we are feeling generous all around, you know, and It's their birthday this month, so might as well get him something nice too, you know? But yeah, so that is a crazy story that happened 2 weeks ago, and I still cannot believe that I am lucky enough to have that happen to me. Like, that is insanity. Yeah, I will say, if you have any type of social anxiety, please do not go to the Tiffany's at Rodeo Drive. They will scare you out of the store. Like, I don't suffer embarrassment, and I was scared out of the store. Thank you, Rahul. Good news, friends. Sorry if that was, like, really close to the speaker. It is so dark in my room. Honestly, I forgot how well my lamp lit up everything, but yeah. Anyways. Right. No, exactly. Like, Christine, like, if you go, it's, like, actually insane. Like, before I had even gone into Rodeo Drive, I thought I was going to do this bit where I was going to look at jewelry pretending I could buy them. And then I went in, and there were so many bodyguards that I couldn't. Like, I dared not to. Like, I really thought I was going to be ejected if I even breathed in the direction of a necklace. So I was like, okay, we're just going to go for what we came here for. Hey, Brendan. Yes, for every newcomer in the stream, I'm just talking about wild stories and painting. Unfortunately. Okay, also I gotta tell y'all, I don't have access to my phone right now because it's recording. If you want to DM me, please DM me on Instagram, because I can actually access that on my computer. Oh my god. Sorry, 1 second. Let me turn off the editor. There we go. Let's see. Okay, what other stories? Okay, wait, hold up. I was gonna continue with my introduction for new people coming in, but I would like to have a second camera looking at my painting, but OBS is being a butt right now, so I'm just abandoning that, and you're just gonna hear me talk and trust that I am painting, which I am. Don't worry about that. And yes, if I do not have access to my phone, please DM me on Instagram if you have something private for me to say. What's my favorite flavor of Jell-O? I like grape Jell-O. I find that while my favorite fruit is the magnificent strawberry, I do not like strawberry flavored things. I think they are way too sweet and do not have the complexities of real strawberries, and therefore it's a travesty, because strawberries are amazing fruit and do not deserve to be shamed like that. On the other hand, grape? I love grape. I don't know why. I love any type of grape flavored things, including real grapes. Of course, especially real grapes. So I would like to say my favorite flavor of Jell-O is grape. I know. I don't know what that says about me. I'm sorry. Hey, it's better than like banana. Banana Jell-O would be not good. Right? Okay, thank you. Okay, I kind of agree. Okay, I will say cherry Jell-O is not my favorite because it tends to be really, really sweet. But I will say that lime and lemon Jell-O are really good. I think that any sour citrusy flavor is great in like flavored things. Which is funny because you can't eat lemon limes naturally, so having lemon lime flavored things is like it's the closest we can get to eating lemons and limes without bursting our faces off because of how sour it is. Okay, Christine. Well, I'm ranted about why strawberry Jell-O is a little sus. What soft foods would you eat? Soft foods, noodles, soup, everything. Soup is amazing. I have talked to a lot of my friends about why soup is amazing, and people who don't like soup, shouldn't be my friend. Just kidding. But like also, if you don't like soup, we need to have a discussion about why not, and like where we can get you a therapist. So yes, noodles. Noodles are great. All types of noodles. I prefer Asian noodles because I like to slurp things. Sorry, I just saw Rahul's comment. But I think that any type of noodle, whether it's like pasta noodles or Asian noodles, is just solid food. I also, like, when my dad had his wisdom teeth pulled out, I remember it because he was being a real big baby about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Val, you are handling this with so much grace when he was screaming every day. But yeah, he ate a lot of noodles, which is great because we're an Asian family, so noodles we all love. Soup, any type of soup. Like, my family eats meat, so we like beef soup, but like chicken soup, I guess. Vegetable soup, I don't know, all soups, whatever soup is your fancy. As long as it has sodium in it. You do not have to chew noodles at all. You can just swallow them. Really? Oh, I love shell soup. Oh, so true, Christine. Yogurt is great. I love yogurt. Okay, you know what's funny? Is you know how I was complaining about strawberry flavored things? The only exception is strawberry yogurt. I don't know why, but I can eat that stuff all day long. I love strawberry yogurt. Maybe because it's not so sweet, because it's like the yogurt part of it, like, mellows it out. But I will eat strawberry yogurt, and that's, I would like to say, the only strawberry flavored thing that I like. Okay, well, you don't have to, yeah. You don't have to necessarily, well, depending on how big the chunks of chicken are, you could also just swallow that whole. Not advised, but, yeah. Even just, like, having, like, the protein and the fat in the soup is really helpful. So you can strain out the meat and just have, like, the fats from the meat in your broth. Yo-plate strawberry yogurt. Yes, I'm a Go-Gurt. Okay, there we go. Val said it. I'm a Go-Gurt gal. I love Go-Gurt. When CJ and I were on our road trip, their mom had some Go-Gurt in the fridge for us, and oh my god, I hadn't had Go-Gurt in so long. That hit the spot. I love Go-Gurt. I actually, because it was so hot in Roseville, we would have frozen Go-Gurt. So, like, we'd put it in the freezer the night before swim practice or whatever, and then we'd have it on our way to swim practice or, like, on a swim meet. So freaking good. And, like, the best thing about it being frozen is that, like, we really had to take our time with it, right? Because, like, we couldn't just straight up eat it. And sometimes they would have, like, the Go-Gurt would have, like, okay, here's a riddle. Try to answer the riddle. Once you eat all the Go-Gurt, here's the answer to the riddle inside the packaging. But because it was so hard for us to eat this Go-Gurt, well, one, we ate it like a popsicle, but two, it also took more time, right? Then it was actually fun because we were forced to actually consider the riddle. And I don't know, I feel like nowadays when I ate the Go-Gurt that CJ's mom packed, it was just too little Go-Gurt. Like, I finished it way too quickly. And no. Yeah. No painting camp today, sorry. OBS is a butt. Some other time. Right now you'll just see my face, although you can flash something else up, I don't know. I'm sorry if I have, like, acne, please don't look. But yeah, right now you'll just hear stories. last week, the entire stream is lagged. Yes, so I see the chat. Let's see. I was going to talk about my Arizona trips. Thank you, Val. Arizona was great. I went with my bestie CJ. Our original plan was to camp almost every single night except for one, all the way from Tucson, which is the very south near the near the Mexico border, all the way to Page, which is right next to the Utah border. Like, in fact, we actually crossed into Utah. However, we did not calculate that it was monsoon season. And yes, okay, rude. Sorry, I just saw Rahul's messages. You'll see the painting on my Instagram story. Just watch that. You don't even react to it. Come on. You can't even say that you're a true fan. Just kidding. Anyways, so we didn't calculate that it was monsoon season. And yes, there are monsoons in Arizona, much to my own surprise, because the last time I had been in Arizona was in peak summer, and if there was a cloud in sight, it was actually just smoke because of the forest fires. But yes, it was very, very rainy. Thunderstorms came so quick. Like, we would see beautiful cumulus clouds roll in, and we were like, wow, so pretty in the daytime. And then at night, it immediately gets really scary. They turn purple super fast during sunset, and you see lightning. Like, there were lightning and thunder. There were lightning strikes, like maybe 10 every 30 seconds. So it was really quick. We got a lot of them on camera. Not super great footage, but yeah. Okay, monsoons are just like storms. Normally they're considered like summer storms, I believe. You often hear about monsoons in places close to the coast, which is why I'm so surprised there were monsoons in Arizona, which is technically a landlocked state. So yeah, it was wild. But yeah, they're just summer storms because they come in from the Gulf of Mexico, and they also come in from the Pacific Ocean, and then they congregate kind of near North Arizona, and they start raining and going south, is my understanding of it. I am not a climate science major. CJ, if you're here, please correct me. But I think that's what I Googled. So we were originally going to sleep in Tucson. It was beautiful. We had brought out our camping food, and our tent and everything. We had set everything up. We were scared about wild animals. And then it started to get dark. Yeah, we don't really have monsoons here. If we get rain for more than 5 days a year, that's surprising. Yeah, Philippines has a lot of monsoons. You often hear about the Indian coastline having a lot of monsoons. I believe Southeast Asia has a lot of monsoons as well. It just so happens that California, especially where Central Valley, Northern Valley, where I live, they don't really have them. Anyways, so we had been worried about bugs. We had been worried about coyotes. We were worrying about oh, did we put our tent far enough from our camp, our food? Are we gonna get attacked by wild animals? And then we see the storms, and we're like, maybe we should have been scared of the weather. So we waited out for another hour. It is absolutely gorgeous, by the way, because on one side we see the constellations, and then on the other three sides we see storms and lightning. Again, beautiful, but also scary. So eventually, CJ's I'm feeling a 4 right now, as in a 4 out of 10 safety. And I'm you know what? I'm not feeling so hot either. This is our first night. Let's just go. So luckily, CJ lives in the middle of the state. So it was only a 3-hour drive from Tucson to where they live, which is kind of north of Phoenix, but basically in the middle of the state. So luckily, we did manage to get there and slept in nice warm beds while we were literally outrunning the storms. So it was really funny because CJ has astigmatism and can't really drive well at night, and I don't really like driving, but it was fine. I drove us to CJ's house, and they were like, whoa, look at these storms, and I'm like, I can't see anything. I'm focused on the road. This is also dark, and I do not want it to rain while we are on these interstates. But we make it, no rain, it's fine. we were supposed to like go to Saguaro National Park that like the morning after, which was in like around Tucson, which is where we were camping. We obviously didn't go because that was like far south and we were in the middle of the state now. So we just kind of hung around, and actually like CJ's brother like drives ATVs and like drove us to this really cool like waterfall. If you guys follow CJ, you can see all this on her like on their vlogs, on their Instagram story. But it was really fun. Like even though we didn't get to see saguaro cacti in Saguaro National Park, we did get to see them in the hills, and they're the kind of hills where you're driving down like the 405 and you're like, or sorry, where you're driving down the 5 or driving up the 5 depending on, you know, direction, and there's a bunch of hills, right? And it's like kind of brown, kind of yellow, kind of green, and you're like, what if I just rolled down those hills? Well, we actually did. Like there was like this, like I don't know if you guys have ever been like ATV riding, but like it kind of looks like a Jeep, but it's definitely not a Jeep. So we were really going off the beaten like path. Like there was a path, but like it was literally only for ATV riders. Really bumpy, very scary, lots of ditches and like kind of sharp turns. But he was a really good driver, so it was fine. We made it to the waterfall, we went back, and then we kind of just like painted and hung around all day and watched movies. And then the next day we were going to go to Sedona, and we were going to camp in Sedona. So Sedona I've actually been to before with my family last summer. And Sedona is really pretty, really hot, has a lot of really cool hikes. So we actually managed to do one hike, but as we were coming down the mountain, like it started pouring. From 1 second, it was completely dry. 10 seconds later, I was so soaked that my glasses had so much water, I couldn't even see. And because I had put on sunscreen because it was really hot and like sun beats down, it was running into my eyes, and I genuinely had to hold on to CJ's hand because I couldn't see anything and I was so scared of falling. Like it was like I was feeling like it kind of felt like being waterboarded just because there was so much wetness. And I like luckily CJ had a visor on, so like a lot of the water slipped off the sides, but I had nothing, so I was really blind. And I was like, well, I didn't want to be hiking while blind. Luckily we were at the bottom already, so it's really just like hiking the road, but still it was very scary. But we didn't die, clearly. I'm here. And we were going to do another 2 hikes that day. Did not end up doing it because it was just like really stormy and we didn't want to try to brave like the slippery, like because a couple of them like requires bouldering, so like literally leaping through boulders. So we were not going to do that while it was really rainy and slippery. Instead we went to like Airport Vista, which is just a lookout overlooking Sedona and like a bunch of the really beautiful surrounding cliffs, and then we drove back to CJ's house. So then the next day we went to let's see, what did the next day we do? I think the next day we drove all the way to Page, which is basically at the Utah-Arizona border. Thank you. And then we stayed in Lake Powell, and we actually camped there that night. It was really nice, although it was extremely hot and we had no wind, so it was very much like sleeping in a pocket of your own hot air and sweat, which is great. But honestly, it was a fun time, and I'm glad that like we actually did go camping that day. And then the next morning we went to the Grand Canyon. So we went to the North Rim, which you can only access during the summer because it gets so snowy in the winter that like you can only go to the South Rim. Beautiful. We managed to do 2 hikes, technically 3. And then we were going to do one more, but again, 1 second we were in the gift shop, the next second it was pouring rain. And we were going to camp in the Grand Canyon, but we were like, okay, no, it's pouring rain, the campsite's gonna be ruined. So we just drove the 5 hours back to CJ's house. Again, we're so lucky it was in the middle of the state, so it wasn't a huge drive either way. Yeah, it was the same thing where CJ drove like the first 3 hours and I drove like the last 2 because it was dark. The next day we did a day in. We were going to go to Sedona to see if we could finish up those couple of hikes. Oh, I also forgot to mention that while we were on our way to Page, we stopped by the Lava River Cave off of Flagstaff, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. If you're ever in Arizona, please go to it. It is the coolest thing ever. We are in a cave. Like, you go down and you climb over rocks. It is not an easy descent at all, but it's really fun. And it worked out that we were both short because it's a cave, so you kind of have to duck in some places, and you have to wear like headgear, as in like lights, headlamps. Otherwise, you will fall because there's no light at all. It's completely sealed. But anyway, that was probably like my favorite hike because just it was so cool. Also, I've like made no progress on this painting. Anyway, so that was really fun, but that was on our way to Page. Okay, fast forward from like went to the Grand Canyon, had a great time, drove back down. The next day we were going to go to Sedona to maybe make up the hikes that we had missed, but we checked the weather forecast, which changed every hour, and realized it was going to rain again. So we decided not to get caught out on the cliffs while it was raining, because that's just really dangerous. So we had another night in. We watched movies, we painted a little bit. It was just like, I did some work, it was a good time. And then after that, like actually during this entire process, we apparently like what is it? What's the highway that connects? Is that the 5? That might have been, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was the 14? But basically an interstate that we normally take from Phoenix to Los Angeles was closed because of the flooding of the monsoons. So we were scared that we would not be able to go back to LA, which is really scary because one, our training starts on Monday, as in like last Monday. So we kind of had, how did we have Wi-Fi? Some of the places had Wi-Fi. We didn't need to use hotspot. Anyways, sorry if it's like really delayed nowadays. What was I saying? So we were scared that we would actually have to delay our drive back to LA, which is, biggest issue was that we were supposed to come in on 27th, so Saturday night. Actually, technically Saturday afternoon. But because of the delays, we might have to change that plan. However, I had scheduled a really big test, like a med school test on the 28th, the morning of the 28th. So I had to have solid Wi-Fi for that. And I didn't and it was like, it might end like at 1. So like make sure you have enough time to complete it, right? But since like the drive is pretty long and like we didn't want to drive at night, if we left at 1, it would be too late. So then we were planning, if we couldn't make it out on Saturday, we'd make it out on Monday. Monday was RA training, and it was a lot of Zooms. Additionally, I had to go into lab, and there was like things I needed to do, and I had planned like hospital shifts on Sunday night and like duty. It was just like a whole mess, right? But luckily, the road did get cleared up on Saturday, or by Saturday. Like I think it got cleared up like Friday. So we did go down, or we did make it west to LA, and on the way there though, like our luck was not over. We got a flat. We got a flat tire. And like we got a flat tire right at the border of Arizona and California on the Arizona side, and we had to get towed to the California side where the tire where they could patch up the tire. So we did that. We got it patched up, and then we finally made it back to LA, and we did make it home. Or like I made it home. CJ did have to go back to Arizona though because they still had like a bunch of their stuff, and like they had their car. It was a whole freaking mess. But I managed to get back here Saturday night, and I did take my test Sunday morning, so it worked out. Oh, Val, that's so true. I haven't seen you since Never Have I Ever. Yeah, it was like, how could our luck get any worse? Oh, additionally, there was supposedly like a place where we could fix our tires at our rest stop that we always like rest at, which is Quartzsite on the Arizona side, and then Blythe is like the mirror city on the California side. So we always stop at Quartzsite, or at least CJ always does. So we had stopped at Quartzsite, and we were like, oh my gosh, like at least there's a tire place, except it closed at noon, and we got there at 1. Like, it was ridiculous how bad our luck was, and we were like, are you kidding me? But luckily the tow guy was really nice, and they patched it up super quick, so it wasn't too much of a delay. But yeah, it was a struggle to get back to LA. No one wanted us. That's the message. I think overall, with all the mishaps that had happened, I think CJ and I, like, we're pretty prepared for everything. And now we know what storm clouds look like. So, yeah, beware those beautiful cumulus clouds. Anywho's, I'm gonna take a small breather because my throat is sore. I love to talk, but even my mouth has its limits. What have you guys been up to? What can I react to? Tell me what your plans are for the rest of summer before we have to go back to school. How my hair is just falling out. Yes, just don't mind. Just don't mind my massive pile of blankets. Work, stress out, and cry. Oh, mood. I hope that you have some free time, Val. You definitely deserve it. I know. I'll dedicate this stream to Vita. At least she looks like she had fun in SF though, which is good. Ah, my lights turned off. Also, fun fact, so I might have invited a lot of people to trivia. What can I say? I don't like excluding people. But yeah, there might be a couple more people than I told Rahul. As in, I invited CJ, I invited my friend Emma, who is underage and does not have a means of going into Barney's, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if that'll happen. And then of course I invited Ari, and then I invited John and Mickey, who were both RAs on my team last year. But honestly, I feel like they're pretty good at trivia, and we couldn't do any worse than we did last time, so I think it's fine. Trivia is Tuesday, every Tuesday. We're gonna try to go to as many trivias as we can, just because it's a really fun thing, and we have to improve because we really sucked last time. I'm gonna be honest here. Rahul can't yell at me for being honest, but yeah, like, we did not do good. But like, Ari actually like loves history. Like, if he didn't care of like anything about making money and just like followed what he would do, like history would definitely be one of that stuff. Like, he loves history so much. So I think we're gonna do really good. Yeah. Yes. term coming this week? I didn't know it was coming this week. Yeah. I mean, I completely failed a question, and I promised that I would never reveal this because I would have to retract my, like, status as a Swiftie, but I'm gonna tell it because this is, like, we're gonna expose everyone here, you know what I'm saying? One of the questions was, like, who paid Taylor Swift who supposedly paid Taylor Swift $125,000 to fly to him in London and then broke up with her through a text. And I got this one wrong because I'm not a critical thinker. Is the sad fact of the matter. I need to make all of these buildings taller. If you can get that one right, you deserve to be on our team. No, Val, we agree. We said that Christine would probably be the biggest carry, and then, like, Val, you would come in clutch, because there was a lot of, like, popular culture references that, like, it was just not good for us. We also need, like, a dedicated sports dude, which might be Dawn for next week, because we were not the good at the sports. My question is for Barney's, do you have to show that you're over age? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you just had a little mark that was like, I can't drink alcohol, and then you just don't drink alcohol? Like, what about that? Is that fine? See, I thought it was Tom Hiddleston too, but in reality, Tom is too nice of a guy to do that. It is Jake Gyllenhaal. Which makes sense, because everyone knows Jake Gyllenhaal is the bad one. Like, you know, the jerk one. But I didn't think about that. I thought about who is British. But maybe Jake was, like, filming something or something. I know that Joe Jonas broke up with her on call. She has Mr. Perfectly Fine about that. Yes, the Jakeses of the Gyllenhaals. But I felt like since I didn't get that, I need to rescind my Swiftie card, which is so sad. It's fine. Hey, I got Chuck Taylor's, which is most important. It's so hot. Friday night, I slept over at my friend Ari's place, and it had AC. I was actually cold. Like, excuse me? Cold? Now I wish I was back there. If you wanted to see how disgusting I am, I literally came back to my dorm room, and I drank, like, there's, like, maybe this much. I drank all of it, just straight from the jug. Don't judge me. It's okay if you do, actually. It's fine. I know it's bad. Hey, Aiden. Hey, Steph. But yes, just vibing. Okay, good night. Yeah, I'll be streaming for a while, so don't you worry. If you guys are just studying or just want to have something on the background while you, like, do whatever you want, please feel free. I'm basically just talking to myself. Because normally what happens is when I paint, I'm literally just talking to myself. Maybe I'll put on a TV show, but it's just kind while because I didn't get OBS to work today. So we're just going to abandon that for now. Luckily, this painting, I think, will be, well, we'll see after how it goes. It's not of just a landscape, it's of buildings too, which is not my preferred painting style, just because they tend to be really detailed, and I just don't know how to do those kind of details, versus, like, landscapes I'm definitely much better at. So, this could either take a while, or, yeah, it's gonna take a while, basically. So you guys can always come back. If I'm still streaming, that's because I'm still painting. I don't finish streaming until I finish my painting. So you're probably gonna wait here a while. Let's see. So what other stories do I got for you? Oh, I guess more stuff about the trivia on Barney's that I went to on Tuesday with my friends. So one of the questions was, these are 12 tailors, as in each, like, there's 12 pictures and they all have something to do with a tailor. So whether that's the last name, that's the first name, something's a tailor, and we have to provide the other name. So the first picture was a picture of Elizabeth Taylor, and I don't really know who Elizabeth Taylor is, but I know of the name. She's very fancy in Hollywood, so I was like, hey, that's Elizabeth. That kind of vibe. So they're all Taylor. Another one's like Taylor Lautner, right? Zachary Taylor, Josh Taylor, James Taylor, blah, blah, blah. The last picture was a pair of Converse. And we were like, Taylor Converse? Okay, why not? And then I remembered, and this is going to say something about me, but I do read fanfic, and a lot of the girls wear Chuck Taylors. So I was like, I think those are Chuck Taylors, right? Like, that sounds like a believable name. And my friend, Rahul, who was on chat but not here anymore, was like, no, that's dumb. Like, I don't think he actually said it was dumb. He's like, I don't believe you. And our friend Nitish was like, that's dumb, but I do believe you. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. But I was like, these are Chuck Taylors. Like, trust me, it is a shoe brand. And they're like, no, that's like a really lame shoe brand. And I'm like, no, trust me, it is Chuck Taylors. So we made a bet. Before the answers were revealed and before we looked it up, I said, hey, if it is Chuck Taylors, I'm going to, like, you're going to have a penalty, basically. And my friend was like, okay, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, like, my friend is really squeamish. So me being evil, because if you didn't know, I am pure evil here. I was like, well, if it is Chuck Taylor's, I will put one of my experiments, because I work in a research lab where we dissect things, as his lock screen for a full 24 hours. And my goal is for him to faint, because apparently he faints when squeamish. Sometimes. And I found the perfect video for it. So, unfortunately for him, and fortunately for me, the answer was Chuck Taylor's, because guess what? That is a shoe brand. So, at a day of his choosing, I did let him choose the day. I'm going to put that on his phone, and I'm going to see how many times he faints. Because again, I am an evil person. Also, y'all should always do trivia with me, because I make things really fun. We have stakes upon stakes. Okay, that's a cool effect. You guys can't see it, but that's a cool effect. music, which is amazing. Don't be scared. Christine, you're on my good side. You won't have scary mistakes. If you're on my bad side, then good luck to you. I think trivia is gonna be so fun, especially since like I'm bringing like my RA friends. Like Ari's gonna carry. He's like competitive, but not necessarily like super competitive. And then John is like the most competitive like person ever, especially like, oh my god, like, bro. When I see John, I'm like, okay, this is it. Like we're gonna go head to head kind of vibe. Even though we're gonna be on the same team, I'm like, okay. So I think it's gonna be a really fun time. And also like, I was talking to Ari because we had a sleepover on Friday, right? Like how much I think he would mesh with our friend group like Christine in the apartments. And he was like, I agree. Like I hear so much about them. I feel like they're really cool people. And I'm like, they are. And I'm like, finally, I'm going to introduce you to them, you know? So he's definitely coming to trivia. If he doesn't, I will be very mad. Okay, now I'm just kind of drawing shapes because I'm feeling like it. I'm not even trying to go off my reference image anymore. Yeah, no, he's really fun. And like, he knows about you guys because like I talk about you guys so often. So I'm excited to bridge the friend groups. No, yeah, he's a genuine sweetheart. Plus, he's great at trivia. Not that that's the number one reason I'm bringing him along, but that's definitely like the number two. Meeting you guys, and then because he's great at trivia and he will carry. Like I think of all of us, I think he will carry the most. He got the answer to how long the USSR was like operational so quick. He didn't even think about it. He was like, this is a fact I have in my brain. And I was like, okay, thank you. I will say, everyone asked me, it's like, I'm surprised you haven't gone into Barney's trivia faster than this. And I was like, honestly, mood. But I guess there is a downside where you kind of have to be 21 to get into the door. I'm not sure if that's like the rule though. I just know that they do check your IDs. But I wonder if they can just mark that you're underage. Plus the server was super sweet. So it was funny, when I was proposing the idea to John, he actually, like, he was like, oh, are you guys gonna drink? And I was like, oh no, actually, like, most of my friend group was like, or not most of my friend group, but the people who I went with last time were like, we're totally sober. Like, our team name was literally called Totally Sober. And he was like, aw. And he's like, is Christine coming? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, does she drink? And I'm like, she'll drink sometimes. So he was like, oh, okay. you're gonna have more than one shot if we win, right? Because there will be at least 3 of us that don't drink. So you're gonna have to, someone's gonna have to divvy up those shots. But that's also assuming we win, which is like, we have, like, it's quite literally an anime hero's arc to win. Like, we would have to go through a montage of training. Honestly, the way to do it is you need to have a team of 50 people, right? Like, even though the cash prize is only $50, like, that's a shot for every single team member. That's a lot of shots. That's 50 shots. That's pretty good. Also, if you have 50 team members, you have a good chance of knowing everything, right? That's definitely my thought process on that. All of y'all are enjoying your Labor Day weekend. I honestly forgot that it was Labor Day weekend, and then, right? Exactly. The bar is definitely losing all of that. What was I saying? I forgot it was Labor Day weekend, and I was like, okay, it's just another weekend, and then I realized I don't have to go into lab tomorrow. I don't have RA training tomorrow, and that's exciting. I still stand by that if we had Nvita, we'd be unstoppable. Because so many of the questions were like Nvita. Like, Nvita would know how to answer this. Like, we all agreed Nvita would be the best at it. Alas, though. There's a couple of tasks that I'm planning on doing. Oh my gosh, I predicted your question, Christine. I want to finish all my secondaries by this week. I have 4 more to do. I want to finish them. I want to get rid of them. I want to, I'll give myself some leeway. I was going to say I was going to start on my project proposal for this fall quarter, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give myself time this week. I want to re-edit my one act that I am submitting so I can submit a longer one and a better version, and just overall something that I'm going to be really happy because I'm writing cheesy, sappy romance, and y'all know I love that ish. I have a lot of duty, so I'm trying to get that covered on Thursday because I have a care center shift that I'm going to. Always, Christine. We'll see. This weekend I have a bunch of Cedars stuff. I'm going to a vaccination clinic and then my regular shift. I have this other like disaster prep thing where I'm an actor for like disasters like earthquakes or something, which I'm really excited about. I don't know if y'all have seen My Hero Academia, but there's like this one arc where they're training in disaster prevention, and I love that arc. And I will, like, if you've seen the episodes, you know, like how there's like civilians who act as like civilians who got hurt. I will be those actors, and I'm really excited about that, but that's gonna take up my Saturday morning. Yeah, we'll see if other plans get made. I'm sure there will be. Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to do with a couple of people that I want to see, but like realistically, I don't know if it'll happen. But yeah, like also CJ is going to be moving in tomorrow, so I'll be helping them. Yeah, I'm at a really happy place right now, honestly, now that I don't have to go into lab so much. Because of RA training, I have an excuse. But that will not last forever, so. What's nice about this movie being, I thought was relatively obscure, but apparently you guys actually have heard of it, which is really awesome. But is that I can kind of do whatever I want, and as long as there's like one big monument and you can tell that's futuristic, like that's all you guys need. So I'm just kind of playing around with whatever I'm seeing, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really, like, you know the thing where it's like secondaries you want to submit within 2 weeks. Well, it's bordering on 5 now, so it's whatever. Am I screwing myself over? Am I going to regret this later? Maybe, but it is what it is. Oh, so another fun thing. Another, I guess, a little story. This is more pre-med, so be this a warning for you guys. For you pre-meds out there, always check your emails a million times, because I had been waiting on the secondary from UC Davis for so long, and I was like, okay, why am I not having it? I didn't realize until I finally checked my inbox looking for the UCSF email, which I did not get yet, that I had actually gotten the UC Davis app the very second day I had ever gotten secondaries back. It was just like the first of like 10 that day that I didn't see it. So I had missed the deadline to complete it. And I was absolutely crushed because I actually do want to go to Davis. Like, it is one of the, like, you know, schools on my list. And I was like really upset by this. And I was panicking. Mind you, this is also when we were like literally like minutes later our car broke down on the way to Los Angeles. So it was just like not a fun time. I was panicking, CJ was panicking, but for different reasons. CJ was like really calm though, as like they talked me down, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like freaking out. And I talked to Danny about it, and he was like, hey, like it's okay, you can always like try to ask for an extension. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care that's a Saturday, I don't care that they're probably not gonna see it. I'm gonna send an email, hey, I want an extension. On Sunday, they get back to me, and they're like, what's your AMCAS ID? We'll look at your application. And I'm like, okay. I give them my AMCAS ID. On Monday, they're like, you know what? They emailed me, they're like, we'll give you an extension to the 10th, like September 10th. And I was astounded. I was so happy. I submitted it that day. And the thing is the Davis app is so simple. It's literally the same thing as a couple of the primaries. It was just talking about activities you did. So basically, the only thing they really look at is your primary, which they had to have looked at to give me the extension. So is this a sign saying they'll give me an interview? One can only hope. But I'm just so glad that happened because I was freaking out that I had missed the deadline. So yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Don't be me. I also am procrastinating everything. Clearly. My lights turned off again. Fun times. Let's see if y'all can see this. For everyone who is still here, you get a little treat. You get to see my progress. Kind of got a lot of wires attached to you. 1 second. Also, don't mind the messiness in my room. It's always messy, but it's especially messy because I'm holding a lot of people's stuff right now. So, I mean, I'm always holding a lot of people's stuff, but like especially now, because people are coming back and need me to hold extra boxes. Hello. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. It is so hot here. I miss AC. Like I have my fans blowing a full blast. It is not enough. Oh, thank you. I'm probably going to make the mountain a little bit taller. What do they call it? Mount Sophia or something in the movie? Kind of forgot, but yeah. It's fun. I was talking to my friend today about like the moment when you realize that like a craft you're doing or something you're practicing is like not trash anymore, you know, like you're actually like maybe good at it. Like you go from like forcing yourself to trust the process to actually looking back and being like, whoa, maybe I'm like decent. And like I I go through that every single day. Whenever I paint, I'm like, okay, I have a blank canvas. I'm going to blindly trust that I'm good at this. But I think the first time that I realized that maybe I was okay at painting was with my my whale painting, which is my profile pic, if you guys were wondering. So it's on the YouTube little thumbnail. But once I painted that dolphin, or honestly, it was even like just the gradient from the ocean, and then of course everything with the whale, I was like, whoa, I'm kind of okay at this. Like, I'm not trash. Like, I thought I was always faking it, and now it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I copied somebody, like, you know, through their tutorial, but it was me who's doing that. Like, I still have to put the brush to the canvas, and that was really special because it was the simplest things. It was blending a gradient really well. It was creating cliffs out of one color and like overlay and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, I'm actually learning things. I was combining all those techniques I'd used from all my other paintings. I was like, okay, like maybe I'm actually decent. And then I chase that feeling all the time. Especially through this like painting series, because like the goal of this painting series is to get better at painting. Is to help practice self-care, because I'm forced to paint every week, which is good because I want to be forced to paint every week. And then it's also like, can I get better at painting? Like, at what point? Like, there's never any stopping, you know? It's like, okay, it's always just like improvement, and I want to always improve. Like, I'm not a master at all, but I want to be able to like create things for myself, and the only way to do that is to practice like a bunch. So I was like, what better way to practice than for a whole year of like practicing? Even though I'm not practicing any specific technique all at once, like common things come along, like gradients come along, clouds come along, buildings, mountains, you know? And that's how I can definitely tell you I am the best at mountainscapes, because I really like doing them and I'm good at them, you know, relatively. But I'm also trying to get better at a bunch of other things, like especially clouds, because I'm not great at clouds yet, but I want to be. So I keep practicing that, just as like you would practice anything else. I think what's interesting for me, at least, is that I could have done a bunch of different crafts. Like, as you know, like as you can see from my wall, I don't just paint. I like to do origami. Like, I cut all these butterflies. I was learning how to like I learned how to crochet and knit, and I want to embroider eventually. So it's like I chose painting as like my main thing, even though I love wanting to do other things too, obviously. Like, I'm still always learning new crafting. I don't know, I think it's really fun, especially to see, like, at least in this background, it's like, yeah, I have all my paintings on the walls, because I do want people to see them. I do want people to notice how much hard work I put into them, and I'm really proud of them, and they give me joy to see them, because it's like, I did that. There's so many colors, like I don't know, I don't believe in just like simplicity. Like, no, I want as many colors as I can. I want things to be vibrant. Yeah, so I'm just really happy with where I've come, like how much I've done. And I think what's especially funny to me is that I actually distinctly remember walking into my RA's room freshman year and admiring her walls, and she had like 2 paintings, and I was like you could clearly tell that she had done them with friends or for an event or something. Like, you know, they weren't like necessarily professional paintings or anything like that. She wasn't like necessarily a professional painter, but I remember seeing those and I was like, wow, that's like so pretty. Like I wanna do that. Like that seems really fun. And then now I'm an RA. I extensively decorate my room, not necessarily to any theme, but because I want to. And I'm like, wow. I was inspired by my RA's 2 paintings on her wall. I even remember they were of what are they called? Like not like lavender, but it's also like willow blossoms and things like that. There was a cascade of purple made from, like I even know that she made them from what are they called? Like con swabs, like stuff like that, like ear swabs. What are they called? I don't remember. But like they were made from like the dotted cotton swabs. Like they weren't even necessarily like a professional technique, but I was like, wow, that's so cool. I want to do that. And now I'm in her room. Yeah, I'm gonna be in her room in less than a week, which is insane. Q-tips, that's what it's called. Thank you. I also want, like as I'm talking to you guys, I kind of want to leave a note for the next RA to enter this room. Just be like, hey, like, it might feel really overwhelming and you don't necessarily know if you're making an impact in these kids' lives, but you are, and it's fun, and have fun with it. Like you're surrounded by amazing people. Like take advantage of the fact that you are here. And like really go ham with your ideas. Like don't let anyone get you down. Cause like I have crazy ideas. Like I put so much time and effort into my kids, and like I don't have to. Like I know I don't have to be a good RA. Like I could be doing 1/5 of what I'm doing right now, and I would still be like, you know, a great RA that everyone appreciates. Like it's not that. It's cause like I want to do it. I want to do it for me more than necessarily for them. Like I want to put on these crazy events. Like I want to paint with my kids. I want to put on Olympics. Like I don't know, like it's that kind of stuff. But I want to encourage like other RAs, like, hey, if you have crazy ideas, like do it. Like yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort, but if you really want to do it, you can. I remember that I was talking to Carolina one day, and they were saying, and like Carolina's been an RA for like, it feels like for eons because they're so good at their job. But I was talking to them about how like, if you're an RA and you love your job, it's because you're a good RA. Like, you know, you're one of those like, those people who really love kids and love putting on events for kids. That's if you love your job. And then they're like, no. Because you can also love the RA job and do nothing. If you don't care about your kids and you do nothing, then you love it because it's like free housing, free food, right? Like you're not getting enjoyment from the fact that your kids are happy. You're getting enjoyment from the fact that you managed to like swindle the system. And that was so mind-boggling to me because like even the people who claim that they're only doing it for like the free housing and free food, like they don't. Like they clearly put in more energy. So the idea that someone could come in and like not care at all about any of these kids is just so weird. And Carolina was like, oh, it's because you're a good RA. And I was like, okay, yeah, but like it's not even just that. Like, I don't know. How can like, I mean, I've had many not only disagreements, but just like I've talked to many people about this, how like you know, there's the quote, it's like, oh, anything worth doing, like, what is it, like anything worth doing is worth doing like 50%, or the opposite, like anything you do 50% is worth doing like 100%. I don't know, I forgot the exact quote, but basically it's like how much effort you put in, and the basis of it is that even if you don't put in your 100%, it's still worth doing, right? But I kind of believe that if you're going to do anything, like of course like within reason, but I'm also not within reason. Like, that's just a me thing. Like, I'm not necessarily saying this is advice for everybody, but for me, if I'm gonna put in, like, if I only need to put in 50%, I'm still gonna put in 100, just because I want to be able to look at everything I do and be like, yeah, okay, I stand by that. Like, I did a good job. Even though, like, so there's this, like, one class that was online. It was a drama diversity, and you could drop one of the projects. If you dropped one of the projects, you wouldn't get an A+, but you would still get an A. And I was like, I had to drop one of the projects because I just generally was just so tired and exhausted and had so many other things on my plate. So I did, and I still got an A in the class. But I still think about the fact that I could have done another project and gotten an A+. And okay, this is like so crazy. Like, I'm so lucky in this way, but I also work hard, but still lucky, where it's like, up to that point, I had gotten an A+, like at least one, normally in a GE, almost always in a GE actually. That was like an A+ a quarter, but that was the first quarter I didn't get an A+ because that was my GE and I didn't do all the projects for it. And that kind of did make me sad, like in a proud way, like in the fact that my pride is too big, because I was like, well, I could have tried harder, but that would have also killed me, so I don't know. I'm not very good at finding that balance within myself. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's like, I just want to do everything really, really, really well. Right, like, even when you know that you can drop it and you are encouraged to drop it, like, people tell you to drop it, like, I will never forget the fact that Dr. Pham, who did write me a letter of rec that I'm sure is wonderful and is a good friend of mine now, like, the fact that he, like, at our reunion for our, oh my god, that's so much fun. That's so much fun, why did I waste so much? For a reunion for our extra credit project, he was like, you know that every single one of you would have gotten an A in the class. Like, you did not need this extra credit. Like, none of you did. And in that way, I did kind of feel guilty, because I was like, you're right. Like, we didn't need that extra credit. Like, we could have given it to people who really needed it. But no, we're proud. You're too proud. So we were like, no. If it wasn't even the extra credit, right? Like, we were not doing it for the extra credit. It was just like a competition, and we wanted to be the best. And we were, but like, for other people, they're not thinking about that. And in that way, we were pretty selfish, because we were thinking just more about, like, we want to be the best, not necessarily like what's actually good for other people, because we didn't need that extra credit like other people did. So I still think about that sometimes. But he's also not wrong, where it's like, we just really want to excel at everything, and that's why I had a really fun time with that project, even though it caused me so much stress, and I was working on it all Thanksgiving. But like, it's one of my proudest projects. I'm referring to specifically my 14 Disney parody musical, which is on this channel actually, if you want to check it out. But it's like, I am so proud. I feel like I'm the embodiment of that specific sin. Like, I can barely take criticism. It's really difficult for me to do so. But I am working on that, because if you can't take criticism, then where are you in life? Like, there's always things you can be better at. But it is very hard. I think it also is interesting because I am a very introspective person, so like any criticism that isn't like necessarily about my work, but like about like a character flaw or something like that, like I will have thought, like I like to say that I would have thought about it already. So it's like, yeah, I know that. You're just like validating what I know. Like I know, like in therapy, my counselor was like, you clearly are a very introspective person and have thought about like ways to overcome overcome your shortcomings. And I'm like, yes, that is correct. Yes, I don't need you. It was also nice to have that validation, because I am extremely dependent on other people's praise. So it's just like this kind of weird go-between where I'm like, I don't need anybody's criticism besides myself, but I want everyone's praise. And it's like, dude, you can't have both. That's not how the world works. You need a good, healthy balance. Also, at this point, I'm just rambling about my thoughts. I was talking to somebody and they had mentioned like the fact that like a lot of people aren't necessarily passionate about things, and we're lucky at UCLA almost everyone is about something or other. And I have just been extremely blessed where almost everyone I've been surrounded with since birth has been passionate about a thing or another. So I've never had to grow, like, I've never had a friend or anything like that that was like, yeah, I don't really care about anything. But like, I find it so nice when people are passionate about things, because like, I don't necessarily know what you're talking about, right? Like, I don't know physics, I don't know econ, like, I don't know stock market, right? But I can tell that you do and that you are passionate, and that makes me really happy because there's always something we can talk about. Like, again, I won't necessarily know everything you're saying, but I believe that if you're passionate about it enough, you will teach it to somebody who wants to know. And it's also weird because, like, of course, the more specialized everyone gets in their field, the less other people know about it. And, like, I'm sure you guys can relate, but in high school, like, you knew everything, right? Like, it wasn't just you were good at science or math or humanities. It's like you were good at all of the things. So now, when I'm not necessarily the master of all of the things, it's, like, super weird. But I'm trying to, like, get used to it. It's like, yeah, I am not a master at math anymore, even though I was the math girl in high school. Like, I dropped that. I don't know, like, a lot about, like, the humanities or econ or whatever. Like, you know, there's better writers than me. A lot of them. So I think that's also interesting about college, is like coming to the terms, like, you know how everyone's like, oh, you're a big fish, little pond, blah, 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 like all that BS. It's like not even that. It's just like you are in different ponds now. And that's weird. For anyone who's here, what made you guys realize, like, hey, I'm in college and it's a completely different experience than what I've ever experienced before? Was it like your guys' first B? Was it meeting, like, people who were better than you at something? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what was it for you guys? question was, what was the moment when you enter, like, after you entered college where you realized that, like, okay, we're not in high school. Like, this is college and it's a whole different ball game. Our first class, yeah. Quite literally, everyone was fighting for their lives, and I think it was also weird. EAF. What is EAF? Wait, define that for me. But yeah, I think what's interesting though about Chem 14A is that, like, while I saw people fighting for their lives, I was lucky enough where I was not necessarily in the position where I had to fight for my life as much, just because like we had done so much of like the preemptive planning. Like, we had like gone to Lyndon Bowie study sessions, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I didn't necessarily score great on the midterms, but it wasn't like devastatingly awful. Oh, I see. Enormous activities fair. Got it. Yeah. So I wasn't necessarily fighting for my life there, but it was just kind of like, for 14A, honestly, like, I was like, oh, maybe this is just like a high school, like, you know, maybe these people just aren't that great at chem, which is like valid, right? Like, everyone has like a sore spot somewhere, that mine is physics. So I didn't necessarily put too much emphasis on that. I think maybe it was when I was getting, like, you know, that first grade back that I was like, whoa, okay, like, not an automatic A. But also, I don't know if I was expecting an automatic A or anything like that. And I guess studying that amount, because I've always been like this crazy studier, was like not unusual to me. So I was like, okay, like the A I eventually got in 14A was because of like my studying, which I had always done. So I didn't think it was that unusual. I think it is interesting though how you bring up the enormous activities fair though, because I went and I kind of narrow-mindedly like only looked at things I was interested in. Like, I tried to not think about how big it was. I was like, it's fine, it's fine. And I was like, out of sight, out of mind kind of vibe. Like, you know how sometimes on like those personality quizzes it'll be like, how do you distract yourself from like your worries, right? And sometimes like, and it'll be like, how much do you agree or disagree with the statement? And like one of the statements will be like, I like to focus on other things. Like, that is me, 100% agree. I will always focus on other things. And I think when I went to the enormous activities fair for the first time, I completely was just like, I'm just going to sign up for random things and not think about like how they might help my resume. first time that I realized that I was not as good at everything that I thought I was like during my writing class, when for the life of me I couldn't figure out how to like get a better grade on my essays. And like I had always done really well in my essays because I was always like one of the stronger writers. But it's like, no, you know, when people do this for a living, they're really strong writers. You're a little too wordy. So that was interesting. Because that was the first moment that I went, oh shoot, I can't see a way to fix this. I mean, eventually I did, right? But like, it was so hard for me. And even now, like with writing, it's like a love-hate relationship because it's like so much of with writing so much, like I have to do so much writing. Like, forget the MCAT, man. Like, you gotta be a good essay writer to get into med school. And it's like, yeah, I thought I had always been a strong writer, but when you're like writing about yourself and it's so personal and like things are getting shot down, you're like, okay, maybe I wasn't as strong of a writer as I thought I would. Oh wait, this is kind of for like med school, which is really important. Oh no, I'm not a strong writer. Like, and then like me asking for help is so tough. So tough. But I'm doing it. I'm asking for help. I'm letting people see vulnerable sides of me. Because ultimately that's like the only way to grow, is to let people help you. And like, yeah, I preach it all the time in my in my med school apps. Like, yes, we need help. Yeah, we all do, but it's like to actually live that and like not just lie for the app is hard. Thank you. Like, so much of me is the savior. Like, I was talking to someone about like, yes, I know I have a savior complex. Like, that is, I'm an older sibling. I'm always like, it feels like I'm always gonna have that savior complex because I feel like there's a lot of good I could do, and I'm in such like a good place, both physically and mentally and all that, academically and financially and all that stuff. Like, that I feel like, oh, like if I gave a lot of my time away to people, like I could help them. But then of course it's like, okay, maybe they want to figure that out for themselves. Maybe they don't want to be saved by you or anything like that. It's their mistakes to learn. That's like so hard for me to just let go, especially for people I care about. Like, I don't want to see you hurt. Yes, I do want to save you from your pain. Like, it comes from noble intentions, but it's also stuff I need to stop doing. Like, the most I can do right now is listen. I'm nobody's god. I can't save every person that I love, even though that would be super cool. I was taking this personality test with my friend, and I had managed to get a very rare, like, personality type, which is like benevolent dictator, which is basically like, you would rule the world, but you would do good for it. You wouldn't be like a tyrant. Like, you would be a tyrant, but like in a good way. Like, people would want you there. And I'm like, okay, well, that's literally what I want. Like, I want to be in charge of everything, but I want people to make, like, people to want me to be in charge of things. I want people to willingly surrender themselves to my guidance. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And I'm like, okay, I recognize that that's a fault line. I'm trying to work across that. Also, this realization literally came on the bus today, and I think that was so funny that it just randomly came on the bus. But a couple of friends have told me terms of like relationships, like romantic relationships. But I realized that it's more than that. But they had told me that I needed to compromise. And like the thing is like I feel like I am a compromise, like I compromise a lot. Like I often hide what I'm thinking, even though it definitely does not seem like that. But like, you know, if I was 100% truthful, like radically honest with everybody, oh my god, we get in so much fights. Just because I see things very logically. So he had told me like, oh, you need to like be more compromising. You're really stubborn, and I was kind of taken aback by that because I was like, okay, I don't know how well you know me, but like I try really hard to compromise. You know, I try to present a version of myself that would help other people. So I was kind of offended by the fact that he was like, oh, you need to compromise more. And I was like, am I not doing enough? But I think I realized that, or at least on the bus, my bus realization to me is like not necessarily that I have to compromise to other people, but I have to compromise with my worldview. Like, okay, the world is not what I would wish it was to be, and I need to let that go. I need to stop thinking like, okay, ideally this is what happened. Ideally XYZ would lead to ABC. Like, no, that's not how life works. No, you can only logic so much because like people sometimes are not logical. And you just have to be okay with that and let people live in their own mistakes, which is really hard to do. But like eventually when they realize their mistake, even like maybe they'll never do, maybe they do, but if they like do realize it, they're going to want you to be there. And you can't be there if you're so high above your horse and being like, okay, like I told you so. That like you outcast them, like that doesn't help anybody. So I realized that I'm going to try to compromise more with my own, with like reality. Like, yes, you might have to give up a couple of your ideals because life is an ideal. You don't have to give up all of them, obviously. Things should work out a certain way because that's like good, healthy relationships or whatever, but like in reality it's a lot more complicated than that. So I'm gonna try to be more open, like try to approach things less from what I think they should be and more of what might actually be possible. Also, I feel like after the stream, I'm just gonna delete it straight off the internet because I get really preachy when I'm just talking to myself. In other words, the painting is coming along well. Y'all can't see it yet, but I think it's coming along pretty well. You're totally good.
how you can fully believe one thing, but you can also fully believe another.
Like, I read this book called, well, it's part of the Patrick Rothfuss's King Killer Chronicles. And part of their magic, like the most advanced magic, was being able to hold two truths in your mind. So these truths could be the cup is full and the cup is empty. And you had to believe both of them equally. And if you did that, you were able to like accomplish this really cool magic. And I remember thinking, like, you know, I remember trying in the bathroom and being like, can I believe that this cup is full when the cup is empty? But I can also see that it's empty. Like, you know, like I was trying to do this Jedi mind trick. And I couldn't because it's a book.
But also, like, we do that all the time. Like, we can believe that we are, like, you know, deserving of the best, deserving of love. But also at the same time being like, do I? Like, I don't know. Maybe this is what I deserve. And you accept less than what you actually deserve. Like, you can hold that you are a very valuable person, but also continue accepting treatment where you are clearly not valued to the point that you know that you should be. And I think, like, everyone does that. Everyone has, like, an idea of, like, what's wrong and what's right, but then they also convince themselves that maybe what they deserve is not everything that, like, what someone else exactly in a position, if it was an objective point of view, deserves. And I just gotta ask, like, psychologists, like, why? Why do we do that? Why do we accept treatment for less than, like, for less what we deserve? And this can be anything, right? This can be, like, your job promotion. This can be your company. This can be your relationships. This can be your family. But we know, like, there's a part of us that knows that, like, maybe things can be better. But then at the same time, we don't fight for it because we think, like, this is as good as we got, and that's what it is. I think that's really sad. But also, I do that too. Like, I'm not like on my mighty horse and be like, no, I never have cognitive dissonance. Like, I have cognitive dissonance all the freaking time. And, like, I will definitely delete this video off the internet after this stream, but, like, even myself, everyone jokes that I have really high standards, like, when it comes to, like, relationships, which is definitely true. Like, I'm so logical that I know, and I've, like, been surrounded by really good examples of love that I know what that looks like. At the same time, I don't necessarily, like, my subconscious is telling me that that's not going to happen for me anytime soon. And that saddens me a lot. But it's like, why? Like, I logically know that it's like, it's going to happen. It's going to be fine. Like, I'm going to be totally fine. But there's still, like, that part of me that's like, maybe it's not going to be fine and you're going to have to just deal with that. And I think what's funny too about, like, always, like, my friendships is, like, they will be like, yeah, everyone knows it's a done deal that, like, I have really high standards because I have a really strict idea of what I think that love should look like. But that's not also, like, I don't know, maybe there's something weird in my brain that's like, okay, that love is impossible to find because you have such high standards, even though I guess, like, I think they're pretty realistic. Like, I think any decent human being should be able to fit them. At the same time, I'm like, maybe it is too high. I also don't want to lower my standards. Like, that's yucks. No, I don't want to do that. Excuse me. question. At least like for cognitive dissonance, I think we grow up with a lot of like media, and like this could be books, TV shows, movies, whatever, that teach us like this is what is ideal, or like this is the perfect fantasy kind of vibe. So we know like that perfect happy ever afters occur, but also we like have our own experiences to draw from, and never is anything so simple. So then we're like, okay, we think that the movies are fake. Like, things like that don't happen in real life. And then therefore, like, as beautiful happy ever afters are not real. But that's not true. Like, there are beautiful happy ever afters. Like, they happen all the time. Like, we just don't think they're real, because that's, like, to wait out for that would take so much time and energy, and we don't even believe that they exist necessarily. So I think it is a taught thing. I think every child believes in perfect magic in a perfect world, which is why people are like, young people are called ideal. Like, you're too ideal for this. It's like, yeah. And then the old cynics of society are like, okay, because these ideals quote unquote don't exist, we must all be cynical now. But I was like, I was watching a John Green video, or specifically, actually, this was like a Hank Green video on Blog Brothers, and like, there are ideal ways to solve problems. It's hard, but like there is a way. There are several ways, but we just told that there are none. So we stop looking for them. We stop looking for like the magic. I was asking my friend who's in a relationship right now whether they still felt excited about the relationship, or did they dread it? Like, conversations with the partner, did they have excitement, or did they want to avoid them because they're like afraid of conflict? And it's like, if you're at the point where you are like completely dreading talking with your partner, or like you have no excitement left for the future, it's like, is that even worth it? Like, you are not having a good time, and there's like no hope. Like, if you can't even imagine a better future where like you don't have these arguments anymore, like, I think that's really says something. The mindset like where I could totally see this, like, our lifetime being the last lifetime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could totally believe the world ends with us. Oh, you're good, Zach. Like, I could totally believe that this, like, we're all gonna die in this millennia, right? But even if I know I'm gonna die tomorrow, like, I feel like I'm just going to continue to live life almost the same. One, because I don't believe, like, it's weird, again, cognitive dissonance, but like, let's just say someone was like, the world's gonna end tomorrow. Okay, why do I believe you? You know, I'm always gonna keep out hope that the world's gonna continue to survive. But even if it wasn't, like, I would still probably do all the same things, just because I'm living life
life to the way I want it to be. Like, I'm not so nihilist that I'm gonna give up on everything. Like, I'm working towards a really long-term goal, right? Like, med school is a long-term goal, but I'm continuously working towards it, and I can't imagine a point where I would ever stop. Like, even if I knew that studying for the MCAT, like, you know, last year, even if I knew the world was gonna end before I took the MCAT, I would still study for it, because I still want to, like, try to reach those goals, even if it's impossible. Also, the story, I'm not sure. I mean, I always have more stories, but... Zach, did you hear the story about my friend with the earrings? That was, like, the first story I told. Yes, I have. It's very good. We're actually putting it on the hill for people to watch during moving. Yeah, it is. I think that's why I really like the movie, because it's like, it kind of, like, it's similar to my own worldview on things. Like, especially that line, what does the husband say? It's like, even if we were in, like, a million different universes, I would still find a way to love you, or something like that. Like, I would still be by your side. Like, I don't care. Like, this is when they're in the cinema star world, where it's like, I don't care if it would be, like, running a laundromat with you, I would still do it. I would still stand by your side. That's, oh my god. Poetry. Oh, you haven't heard the earring story. Well, Zach, this actually gives me the perfect opportunity. I will write it out for you. I will send you an email of the earring story, because that is a spectacular story, if I do say so myself. I think it's a very, very fun story. So I'll type it out for you for story time. We'll do story time Monday. If I don't send you an email tomorrow, please remind me. I have time to do it tomorrow, so like I should have no excuses not to do it. Yes. Yes, of course I know the toaster story. You met the toaster girl again.
sweet. I mean, your toaster story you like spread to every camp. I'm not surprised that she heard about it. Actually, I would love if he, Zach, have you heard of his favorite Christmas story, the song by Capital Lights? It's one of my favorite songs. Funny story with that one is I actually read it, like, the first time I was introduced to it was because of a How to Train Your Dragon fanfic. No shame there. No shame. But I think if any person was going to go through his favorite Christmas story, it would be you, Zach. Like, you should listen to the song. I think it describes you really well. I'm hoping the ending is slightly different though. But it's basically just about a traveling storyteller who tells the story about this girl that he loved way back when, chance meeting, and then, you know, he tells the story everywhere he goes. Okay, so let's see. This painting's a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, you should listen to it. I also want to like do this project where I kind of just go around and I collect people's love stories or heartbreak stories or whatever, and I write them. Like yes, right now it's like one act, but like I don't know. I like writing stories about people. Is that a crime? And I feel like so many of my friends have like really good tales of love and loss and all that stuff. Oh, nice. Yes, exactly. A meet cute. Okay, there's only one bed stories that are like overdone, but I am a sucker for meet cute. So Zach, you don't know this, but Christine does. But one of our friends, like I've written like a story about him and how a possible meet cute could happen. And I was so enthused that I actually submitted this one act to an amateur like play production company at UCLA, and if they like it enough, they're gonna put it on, and then I'm gonna surprise my friend because he doesn't really know about the story that I created for him, and we're gonna show it to him because it's basically just this cute meet cute. I need to lengthen it because it's a very short one act. I had originally written it as like a 1 minute 30 short film. But if I wanted to make it into a one act, we're gonna need more dialogue, blah, 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 but I'm totally willing to do it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty good. But even if you didn't know my friend, it's just like the cutest, like, meet cute kind of thing. And, like, I would love to do that for a bunch of different love stories, and I feel like, Zach, you would be a great partner in this project. I feel like I've kind of done with the buildings. Oh, lights are off. Got shivers, goosebumps. Yeah, exact coffee order. And you know what's funny about that one is that I feel like people are like, no, that doesn't happen. But it actually, like, okay, one of my friends, we were getting omelets at like one of our dining halls, and she managed to get the exact same order as the person in front of her, and like, no, they didn't date from then on, but it was like weird because their order was very specific, and like my friend even commented like, oh my god, like I've never met another person who's ever had my order, and like I think like those things happen. course, for obvious reasons, my favorite meet cute scenario will always be like someone was reading on a park bench. Like that kind of meet cute, but that's just also because I'm a sucker for readers in parks and benches, I guess. But it's also funny because like meet cutes happen all the time. Like my parents met kind of like a meet cute. It was so funny. I love the story just because I didn't think that my parents would have like a love story like that, but they do. Basically, like they both worked in the same place and they're both engineers, so like they have what are called bunny suits. And why they're called bunny suits is because you look like a bunny because you're like in head to toe like gear, I guess. Like it's just like one suit and you can only see your eyes. And my mom has really big eyes, just like me. I inherited them from her. Where did my brown go? Where did my brown go? Oh my goodness. I found it. Okay. Is it? Yeah. Just because that's my just so you know, Magic Bytes is like my my computer home screen, I guess, or screensaver, background. I don't know. That, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so back to my parents. Yes, I do have big eyes. So that's all you can see in a bunny suit is eyes. So my dad was immediately tranced like by my mom's eyes because they're so big. And he was like, whoa, like, okay, you know, kind of cool. And then he decided to talk to her because on her desk was Vitasoy. Now, Vitasoy is apparently like a really healthy drink, like kind of like I don't even know, like kind of like a soft drink, I guess, like in that realm. And he was like, wow, I've never met a woman or anybody actually to have ever drinking Vitasoy. Like it is an acquired taste for sure. Nobody likes it. And then from then on, he was like, you know what? I need to know who this woman is who's drinking Vitasoy. Let's see, like, if she would go out with me. I don't know. I've never actually looked up what Vitasoy is. But the funny thing is my mom doesn't drink Vitasoy. She is not a healthy person. To this day, she has no idea how the Vitasoy got on her desk. But she does have big eyes. Those are her eyes. So, like, she accepted my dad's, like, date, proposal, I guess, whatever. And they went out, and kind of, like, the rest is history. Except it's not, because every story has more and more layers. But, like, that's how they met. And I always joke that it was based off a lie, because my mom does not drink Vitasoy. And my dad was so impressed with her because he thought she did. But, like, don't you think the idea that it was fate just putting a Vitasoy random... Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, my mom genuinely has no idea how it got on her desk. But, like, the idea that happened is just so funny to me because I was like, wait, that's actually a really cute story. Even though I joke that their relationship is based off a lie because she's not healthy and she doesn't drink Vitasoy like that. And then as they continue to talk about, like, their love life and them dating and, like, there were obstacles, like K-drama level obstacles, like in their path, I was like, whoa, my parents have an epic love story? Like, what? Like, they're just my parents, you know? Like, there's no way. So it's just like, that made me realize, like, oh my god, everyone has a love story, or everyone has a story, whether it ended in love or loss is like totally different, but they have a story and it's also interesting. Like, even people I didn't expect it from, which is kind of why I would love to go on this little, like, journey and travel through love stories. Maybe that's why John Green loves them so much, because they're so fun. They're so cool. Yeah, my parents aren't cool. No, yeah, part of why I say it's a K-drama is because my mom was actually going to get her master's degree in, like, chemical engineering or whatever. She thought like that was the path for her until she met my dad. Not yet. Like, yeah, Zach, you have a love story, but it'll become a love story someday. I believe in it. You're such a good person that it's gotta be like someone who appreciates you for you is gonna be out there. So like it's gonna be okay. Like, you're gonna have your love story soon. I have no doubt about it. But anyway, so my mom was gonna get her master's. Then she met my dad, and like that's fine, right? Like, they could have had a long engagement or whatever, but my dad's uncle or somebody, a family member, had passed away. And the thing is like, you like need to get married, or like maybe not passed away but was sick, but either way there was like this thing where it's like you had to get married within a certain time after or before this loss. So they were on a time crunch. It was, my mom had decision whether to marry my dad or to get her master's, because she didn't have time to do both. Well, clearly I'm here, so she did end up choosing my dad, but she could have chosen a master's. And I'm thinking, and it was like literally what stopped them. What literally stopped them was the fact, like, you know, what gave her this ultimate choice, like this ultimatum on like her future, was the death of a family member. Like, doesn't that seem like a K-drama to you? Like, I feel like it's so like improbable. Like, oh my god, like the superstition, we can't get married, what are you gonna choose? Like, I feel like I see that on TV. I don't actually live that, but that's actually what my mom lived. And like the way that this conversation was even broached was like so random. Like, I think honestly I might have even been talking about you, Zach, like your parents or something like that. Like, I don't know, it was just like, I was like, oh, love stories, blah blah blah. My dad was like, oh, like, I mean, we kind of have a crazy one. And I was like, what? And then I found out about it and I was like, wait, it's actually crazy. Like, I was like, there's no way my parents, because they're boring as frick. Like, they met in an engineering company. I flossed before, but my gums are awful because I don't floss often. I'm sorry if you can see a shot of my gums. Yikes. Anyways, yeah, so I also, like, right? Like, Christine, isn't that wild? Like, I don't know how you view your grandparents, but I look at my grandparents and I'm like, they're grandparents, you know, they're like old. I'm like, okay, nothing could, you know, but like they've literally lived through wars. Like, I interviewed one of my granduncles during the Cultural for a project talking about the Cultural Revolution, because like he had literally like swam through rivers to get away from like China. And I'm like, what? Like, excuse, what? That guy? That dude who just sleeps in the corner? I don't know. And like, at the same time that it like shocked me, it also like heartened me, because I was like, whoa, like, even though I haven't done much right now, like, who knows what'll happen in the future? Like, there's so much life left. Like, this guy who's sleeping on the couch right now, like, literally went through all these different like things. And like, when I asked, I remember asking my like, my mom translated, but I asked my great uncle about it, right? Like, his own story about fleeing the country, and he was like shocked that I wanted to know about it. He was like, yeah, and what? And I was like, and what? This is so cool. It's just like, I understand why people really like history, because it's like, yeah, you learn about these kind of cool things all the time, but it's like different when it's like your family history, because you're like, I know the people in this story, they're not just random faces. Yeah, that's true. I can see
see that happening. I could see, like, I mean, you know, they're definitely gonna ask about like the coronavirus. Or are they? You know, like, do they even care? Because if I didn't have that school project, I would never have asked my great uncle these questions, and I would never have known. And like, I know like there's always that trope that's like back in my day, but also like back in your day could actually be super interesting. I think those stories are really interesting. I don't know. I like talking to old people. Then again, like, a lot of my job is to talk to old people at the hospital. Like, today, I was supposed to work with kids, but I got placed in, like, a wrong unit. So I was just talking to one woman for, like, 4 hours. Which was definitely enlightening, but not what I had signed up for. Yes, I would gladly join the fight. Also, if y'all want an update, I think I'm done. Okay. Here we go. I mean, part of the reason why I love doing so many things, and like, I will purposely rearrange my schedule. Thank you. And do like all these crazy random things that people are like, I can't believe you have time for, is because I want to have stories, and not necessarily to tell my future descendants, but to tell my friends, right? Like this, thank you. This stream would be really boring if I had no stories to tell. So I like making stories. I like having fun and talking to people and learning their stories too, because everyone's so interesting. Like, everyone lives such different lives from me. It's like wild, right? Like, even my sisters, right? Like, I love catching up with them and like learning more about what they're doing. I think it's just so fun. Also, I think I really captured the bubbleness. Let's see. This might be easier. I took it off a little. My video quality on my computer is not great, but it's a little fun. Yeah, I don't know. I like doing things so that when people ask, what did you do today? I can tell them a pretty bang up story. And Natalie has called me out on that so many times. Thank you. She's always been like, you know, when people ask how was your day, they don't actually care. But I'm like, well, if they don't actually care, then why did they ask me? And if they're just asking me to be polite, then like, why are we friends? Kind of vibe. Like, when I ask people, what did you do today? I want to know what you did today. Like, what's the point of the question if you don't answer honestly? And if the answer is like, I did nothing today, then that's cool. Like, you did nothing, right? But I'm like, nah, I don't do nothing. Like, why would I lie? Thank you. My day was great. I woke up this morning at around like 7. I chatted with my friends a bit because we were talking about how like, oh gosh, now we're like old people and we wake up early. Thank you, Zach. Thank you for caring. Then I got breakfast, skipped lunch, and I went to my shift at Cedar Sinai where I was supposed to work with pediatrics, but instead I worked in the neurology stroke department. So I was talking to a patient who I think had dementia, and we were just chatting for a while, and she was talking about how much, like, she missed her children and her siblings. And at the very end of our visit, which was 4 hours, hello, at the end of our visit, which was at the end of 4 hours, she was crying because she missed her sister so much. And she's an older woman, so she was like, I don't know if my sister's dead. And she was like really, really in tears. And that like made me almost cry, because I was like, dude, like I can't even imagine my sister. And like, I'm a really empathetic person, so I'm like, bro, you can't do this to me. Like, I'm gonna cry right now. Like, I don't want to imagine my sister being dead, because we both had bonded over the fact that we were really close families. Like, we were really close to our respective families. And it was heartbreaking. But it was also like, before then, she was just really happy to have talked to somebody, because the nurses are really busy, so they can't really talk to her all the time. But volunteers, were literally there to accompany patients and talk to them. So I did that, and it was fun. And, even though it ended where she was sad, I'm happy. The reason why she actually thought about her sister... Sure. Here you go. This is from Astro Boy, which is one of my favorite movies, but it's a deep cut because not everyone has seen it. It's also, my camera quality is really bad, so sorry about that. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, so the reason why she had even started thinking about her sister was because I had written her name in a couple of different fonts. And I was just like, hey, this is your name, ha ha ha, kind of fun. Something fun for her to look at. And then she got, thank you, Zach, but she got really sad because she was like, oh, my sister is a great artist, too. I really miss her. And then she's like, oh, my sister would have, loved this Post-it note that I wrote on, right? And she's like, I wish I could have introduced you to my sister. And she was alone in the hospital, so that's when she started crying. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so... a very impactful day, I would like to say. And then afterward, I came back, had dinner, talked to a couple of my friends, got my radio, and then am here. So all I have to do now, since I've finished the painting, is draw or paint in the letter. So today's was the Ace of Spades. And for y'all who have been faithfully following my painting series, every month has a theme and every suit has a theme. So... if you want to do some little mental dig in, try to guess what, these suits mean. And you can use all of my previous and future cards as, evidence for your case. I was joking that, I would give the entire collection to the person who got every single, month and suit right. But then my sister was like, oh, what if that happens? So then you'd have to actually give up the cards, and that would be heartbreaking. But also, my whole plan was to, it was a joke plan, but it was also, not a joke plan, where I would give one card to everybody I knew, or everybody I loved, and then was like, okay, you all have to, come back together and show me these cards, when I die or something. Kind of like a Westing game. Dang! Are you all packed? I don't think I've ever played Paigal.
I would love to learn. I love learning new card games. Fun. I mean, you said you started packing at the beginning of the stream, which was like 3 hours ago. But I guess you are packing like a bunch of your stuff, so we're moving. So. Okay, I made the spade a little bit of a thick boy.
That's okay. Oh, fun. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Here you go, little ace. Looks good. Okay. I think I'm done. Yeah. So now I'm gonna upload this to my Instagram story, as you guys know. I don't really know if there are any songs in Astro Boy, so we'll see what I find out for our music. But yeah. You know what's exciting though is like with every card, because of last week where I painted 4 of them, like literally this week actually, and this is like the 5th one. I'm definitely catching up. I'm almost done. Like I'm almost caught up. Maybe like 3 more cards and I'm caught up. Thank you. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's good. It's very bubbly. It's very colorful. A lot more colorful than the actual photo that I based it off of. It's almost more what's it called? Meet the Robinsons bubble vibe, but I like it. So yeah. If you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute. Do the cards bend inwards? Well, they can bend. I think they naturally bend a little bit like this. When I put Mod Podge on them, so like the paint doesn't get scratched. I don't sleeve them yet. I actually have. This is what I've been doing to like flatten them. I put them in my little planer because I Mod Podge them, and then it gets pretty bent because the Mod Podge kind of congeals it a little bit inwards. So I've been trying to flatten them using my planer, and then I don't know how I'm gonna sleeve them, but I think I'm going to sleeve them some way. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But Rahil, I don't know if you follow me or anything like that, but this is Thursdays. Sorry, it's kind of, again, my camera's not really good, but this is from Treasure Planet, which is actually one of the beginning scenes, and I'm obsessed with this one. I think I did it really well. So yeah, this is my Instagram if you want to follow it. I have a whole what's it called? What are they called? Highlight. I have a highlight stories on my profile. That's all of the paintings I've done so far, and I'm going to continue these until I finish at the end of the year, and I'm hoping that by the end of the year I'll be fully caught up. I hope I'm actually ahead because I have a couple of surprises. Oh cool, welcome for coming, or thank you for coming. But I have a couple surprises at the very end of the year that I'm wanting to do, but I can only do them if I'm caught up. Yes. Yeah, check out my Instagram, Rahil, if you're interested in painting and just my journey. I've been painting, this is what I call 52 card pickup. I've been painting every weekend as much as I can for this entire year. So by the time this year is over, 52 weeks, I will have 52 cards. So it'll work out perfectly, and the whole point is for me to schedule self-care time. Painting is really soothing, 3 hours-ish, and then of course I want to get better, so doing a lot of mini paintings helps. Yeah. have a good night, and I'll see you the next time I stream. Yeah, and sometimes I don't always stream all my paintings, but I do always upload them to Instagram. So, yeah, have a good night, guys.